Hi, this is Jonathan. Today we're going to talk about the tally as opposed to the Strat, and is it important to our arsenal in our collection of guitars and in our music. All right, stick around. I've been predominantly a Strat player for most of my life. I love the Strat, its versatility, the wang bar, the tremolo bar, and the out of phase sound I can get from the second and fourth position. For those Strat players out there, you would know. But then lately, I came to understand and appreciate the versatility of the Telecaster. This is my cheap but really happening Harley Benton black Paisley. So I've done all the mods that I can. The only thing I can need to do is to change the tuning machines, because I think I'll probably have better ones than this. But there is a project to come later. The tally is something else. It's a different thing, and I've been using the tally for a lot of my recordings in the recent years. And I found it to be really useful in terms of cutting through the mix of a ton of guitars or synths or strings or whatever you have in your basic track. The tally always comes out really, really well. And especially this guitar that I have here. I don't know about this, but probably the pickup configuration as well as the wood, the neck. This is a pretty thick neck. It gives me a really thick sound, a good solo sound that I really dig. Every time I hear a recording that I've did with this tally, especially the solo, I really like the sound, and it's a whole different animal from the Stratocaster. The Stratocaster has its own unique tone to it. I really love doing solos on this, not on the flat out the fifth position, but on the fourth. It somehow, for me, it gives me a more emotional sound. I can get more emotions out of the solos that I do on the fourth position as opposed to the fifth position. I would use the fifth position mostly for rock out stuff, like the real rocky stuff, and that'll work. That works perfectly. For the tally, it's a different thing. I could always use the first position, which is the neck pickup, or the in between, which is in between, the neck and the bridge. And I would use mostly the bridge pickup for some of the more expressive solos that I want to do. And in this case, because because of the ability to get a thick sound out of this guitar, it suits my purpose to perfection, and I can get really nice tone out of it and get really emotional with it without even the use of a wang bar. Sometimes I get too dependent on the wang bar, and it kind of like robs me of the joy of just using a guitar or playing a solo on a guitar without any tremolo system. And then you get to really know how it feels and what is it like to do a good vibrato and do pitch down, bends up and stuff like that. Whereas on the tremolo system, you get spoiled because you can do all that with the wang bar. And there's something about the Stratocaster that is so appealing to a lot of players because of the ability to dive bomb, the ability to do a little bit of a tremolo without too much effort. For this you got to like shake the whole guitar, and if your neck is loose enough, you can get really good tremolo. But I've seen guys done it, and I really dig it. I think this is a great thing that they're doing. And some of the country players even go as far as to do this, on just above the nut, and they can get nice tremolo system and even bends. So there's a whole lot of stuff going on with the Telecaster, which it opens up a whole new world of exploration for me. You have the hip shot bender, the B bender. Those are like really great tools to have, and even some of them even have a Bixby tremolo system here. So I wouldn't do that to my Telecaster. I like to keep things stock as much as possible, except for the pickups and other stuff. I have to play a traditional guitar for what it is. Of course, once in a while, I indulge myself in the Harley Benton Fusion Pro, which is like a cross between a Les Paul and a Strat, more Strat than Les Paul. The Telecaster can actually duplicate the sound of a Les Paul if you choose to by swapping out the pickups. By having humbuckers on the neck as well as on the bridge, you can get the sound like a Les Paul in a certain way. It still plays different from a Les Paul. It still sounds different from the Les Paul, but you can get by. You can trick people with it. You can get away with this. I used to have a warm-up Telecaster, which is a beautiful. I really regret selling that, but it's one of the nicest guitars I ever owned. It was secondhand. It was sold to me by a guitar friend of mine, and it has a. If I'm not mistaken, it has a rosewood fretboard with roasted maple neck, and if I'm not mistaken, a rosewood body too. And it's so heavy, but it sounded so good. But the friend of mine modded it. He had fret rows installed, EMGs, single, double EMGs, with a fret rows tremolo system. So it kind of take away what the Tele is intended to be, and it played well. I mean, it's a great guitar to have in the studio because it sounded so, so good. It sits well in the mix, and that's the thing that got me thinking about: is it the EMG pickups or is it the body? So right now, I'm telling you right now that it's the Telecaster. It's the way it's manufactured. And it's tried and true. That's why a whole lot of country players love this, swear by this. And it has a distinct sound of its own. And I use this all the time for my recording, so I'm happy. I'm like, just discovered the Telecaster. I'm happy with it. I love this guitar so much, the way it sounds. But I haven't fallen out of love from the Stratocaster because the Stratocaster is a versatile guitar. It plays rock, funk, anything with it. Country, you can do all sorts of stuff with the Stratocaster. It's its own distinct sound. You can do the same thing with the Telecaster. You can play funk, with it. And I've seen a whole lot of players from back in the early 90s, 80s, early 80s, where there's a whole lot of band coming from America, black bands coming up from America. They were real funky, and they were using Telecasters, and I was like, my mind was blown, and they were so good at it. And of course, you've seen around, you heard players doing funk with the Telecaster, and the best of both worlds. If you have the ability to own both guitars, you will probably be quite satisfied with what you have, and you'll be happy to be able to reach out to a whole lot of genre of music with just these two guitars. Of course, there's the Les Paul, and the Les Paul falls into a category that used to be predominantly in rock, but I've seen Les Pauls been played in jazz and in country too, and it works just as well. But the Les Paul is truly a great rock guitar. Every time I use the Les Paul for some of the raunchier stuff, it never fails to disappoint me. It has that sound. So tell me and share with me, what do you think? Do you have both guitars in your arsenals, and are you like me, understanding that both guitars have their pros and cons, and more pros than cons actually, because they are really good working guitars. Because if you own a Strat, if you own a Telecaster, you know that these things don't fall apart easily unless you hurt it down 10 stories up, your flat or a block, and it'll probably disintegrate. But what I'm trying to tell you, that this is a working man's guitar, and it's sturdy, it doesn't fail easily. So share with me, what do you think of these two guitars, and do you have them in your arsenals, in your guitar collection, and what do you feel about them? And post them in the comment section below. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, and if you want to subscribe to this channel and ring that bell if you want to be notified of any new videos that comes out in the future. So till next time, till the next video, you guys take care. Ciao.